Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on a KTN Morning Express. We are on to our third segment, the person of interest. And joining me in studio now is the Deputy Governor of Mandera County, Omar Mohammed Maalim. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning, I'm good.
How is Mandera?
Mandera is good. Everything is good.
Yes.
We have the rains. Security improved.
Great.
Yeah.
That's very good news.
Yes,
so we've heard things about you. We've seen you in various shows. You have a story. You have a very, very compelling story. But I would just ask, who is Omar Mohammed Maalim? Just quickly take us through your journey.
Thank you, Akisa. Omar is currently the deputy governor, the first deputy governor of Mandera County government. From a humble background. My first job was a police officer working in Western Kenya. I've worked in various stations within Western Province. At some point, I was seconded to the United Nations Civilian Police, Kosovo. After the end of my mission, I came back to Kenya and I resigned from the police and joined a humanitarian organization that was working in northern Kenya and parts of Rift Valley. I've worked there with the organization for 7 years, and 2013 I opted to venture into a different field and joined politics and became the first deputy governor of Mandera County.
Wow. It has been your graph looks like this, from police officer, then you resign, then you get into humanitarian work, into politics, and already you are a deputy governor. Could you say that happened so fast? What would you attribute that to? I
would attribute that to the hand of God, and it is everything that happens with the will of God, and nashukuru Mungu for that. And I think the element of hard work is also is attributed to it. From a junior police officer to working in Kosovo has taught me a lot in the issue of working hard, looking beyond the possibility, and I think I will say it is through hard work and also God's will that I am where I am.
You've definitely, as you say, worked as with the security force, not only in Kenya, but in the US as well. And you come from an area that is one of the places that has been prone to insecurity for a very long time now. How would you describe the situation now? And what really is your vision? As a deputy governor, what have you done to make it better, to make Mandera a safer place for people to live? And not only locals, even people from other counties and countries.
Thank you, Akisa. That's a very important point. When we came in together with my governor, my brother Ali, Mandera was it was a war zone. Let me use that word. Literally, 2013, there was bombshells, there was gunshots everywhere, and when we came in, literally, the presence of officers was minimal. We have sat and we discussed, and my governor asked, what do we do? What do we do? We said the best thing we could do was to engage the national government to ensure that there's more police presence in Mandera County. We also promised to help them logistically. We had the Kenya Police Reserves. At that time, there were 175. We promised to give them incentives, and Mandera County was one of the, actually I think it's the only county that's so far given an incentives to the Kenya Police Reserves. We were given 10,000 Kenya shillings in order to motivate them. As you are aware, that security is a national function, and counties do not have that prerogative to fund or to pay salaries for police officers. But we said the problem is affecting our county. And in agreement, we had signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Interior. And we have been paying incentive 10,000 for those reserves. That has helped greatly. They have done a lot of patrols in Mandera. We have had that constituency, Mandera East constituency, has had the biggest brunt of all incidents that has happened in Mandera County. There was gradual improvement from 2013 to date. However, there had been sporadic, incidents where, targeted incidents have been happening. My governor and I have taken all steps to make sure that we push the national government to provide more officers. And the government has provided our request. More police officers have been, deployed. We have had the first time GSU camp in Mandera, border point one, and it has helped greatly. So that's what we did in terms of county government, providing logistical support. We have hired vehicles for the police. We have provided that incentives for the Kenya police reserves. And we have created awareness, because the key thing is if there's no working relationship between the local population and the police, then intelligence gathering and sharing is a problem. And we had talked to the local population to provide enough information to bring out where the real problem is, and I think we have done quite well so far. However, there's a big room for improvement. At national level, I think policy direction must be shaped to make sure that that is dealt with.
What are the major challenges for your county when it comes to tackling insecurity?
One of the key issues is about, of course, the officers themselves. Despite the fact that there are quite a number of officers, the local culture and the local population, that interaction is lacking. The main problem will be, the real interaction between, relationships rather between the local population and the police. There's a gap there. There's a gap there. We intend to make more friendly the force, to make the force more friendly to the local population, so that they can develop rapport to give more information. That's one. Of course, that relationship between the population and the police is lacking. Information, of course, intelligence is focused, for me, my view, is focused externally. We have right now, I would say, most of our problems are internal. And our local intelligence, I think, is focused externally. And I would say that if that's improved, local intelligence gathering, the issue of community policing, making sure that at least there's presence in all the centers, all the villages along the border, that intelligence gathering, the community policing will have helped a great deal. The issue of Kenya Police Reserves, or right now they call the National Police Reserve, is an element that has really helped. So far, we have been pushing for more increase in that number of police reserves. We have not had much, because as a county government, ours is to request. We need national leaders to make sure that they push on that. It has not been forthcoming. So we need quite a good number of local national police reserves to ensure that they patrol the villages, they patrol the roads, they give more coverage to the entry points, because we have got a vast borderline that is not manned, a very porous border, that people could come in at any time and get away at any time. So with an increase in the number of national police reserves, then that means a reduction of the number of incidents that happen in that constituency.
Insecurity has and still is a major challenge for your county, and consequently has affected other sectors. It affected the health sector, it affected the education sector. We even had a time when, after the attack on Garissa University, just the other county, very many teachers and health workers were refusing to go back there and teach, and it generally affected the education sector in the various counties in the northeastern region. How is the situation there now?
Kisa, I will say insecurity has affected all sectors. I agree with you. And so far, the biggest beneficiary of that problem is the Ministry of Education. In Mandera, I'm sorry to say this, but I think is one of the worst in terms of attention from the Ministry of Education. We have 213 primary schools with a teacher-student ratio expected to be, we expected to have 2,000 teachers. At the moment, we have less than 1,000 teachers in Mandera for that primary, 213 primary schools. Is a key problem. Security is just a factor, but I would say I think there's lack of attention from the Ministry of Education. Brother Matiangi is very active in national level or counties that are not frontier. But I think that is also a key. I wouldn't say it's only security, but I think that follow-up that's happening in other parts of the country is not happening in Mandera. It's not happening in Mandera. We have 47 secondary schools, which is supposed to have around 1,000 teachers. We have a deficit of around 500 teachers. So insecurity is one area. Right now, it's not alarming because I did mention that there are quite a number of police presence in Mandera. For example, we have Mandera Secondary School, which is in Mandera town, that is having quite a number of lack of teachers. And there's a lot of police presence. So insecurity is just one factor. There are various factors. The lack of attention by national leaders in terms of making sure that they provide a follow-up on the teachers in Mandera. Insecurity is just an excuse for me because the governor and I are also human beings and we are working there. Other even the security officers are human beings that are there and they are there in the ground. So I wouldn't say insecurity is a key area that has affected the education. In the health sector, we have been doing well because health is a devolved function. For the first time, we have had over 13 trained doctors. As a county government, we have recruited over 700 health workers. We have not been having major problem until the recent strike by the doctors. It has affected all the counties. I wouldn't say it's a county problem. It's a problem that existed even before the county came into being, because the CBA has been done before the inception of county governments. We are doing all our best. You see, yesterday the Council of Governors have mentioned the fact that business cannot go on like that. Business will not be as usual, and counties will do more in terms of making sure that the situation is handled. So going back to the question, I think security is just an element, but there are other factors that contribute to failure in one sector. For example, the education, and I will say it's not only security; it's owning up the process of that particular department or that particular ministry.
Other counties have been trying to move in and intervene with the doctors' strike. Some have been recruiting here and there. As Mandera County, what have you been doing to try and handle or manage the situation?
We have done similar the same. We have been negotiating time and again. The situation is not very bad off. Of course, most of our doctors are local doctors, meaning doctors that come from Mandera, Garissa, and Wajir. They have been helpful, and we have been urging them, to have that human face, because we have one of the counties, the farthest end. Mandera Referral Hospital is serving southern Ethiopia, and Bulhawa, which is the border of Somalia, and the number of patients is, extremely very big. So they have been understanding, and we are continuing negotiating with them, continue talking to them, at least as much as you're on a strike or you need to come and help, and they've been helpful, and we anticipate that the strike will come to an end.
Let's talk about your political ambitions come 2017. from deputy governor, now your eyes are set on being a member of parliament for Mandera East. Why that move?
Thank you. That's a very interesting question. First of all, I did mention that I was talking about national policy making. The move that I want to make is that I believe that we have made quite progress in terms of functions that are devolved. I'm the deputy governor, and what we do, I've talked about the health sector, I've talked about agriculture. We have done quite well in terms of the roles that I'm doing at the moment. And my wish is to see to it that those functions that are not devolved, that I take part in national policy making, level, so that these issues are addressed. Issue number one is issue of education, which I mentioned, that we have got over 2,000 deficit teachers. And the excuse given is security. For me, I don't believe it's security. I believe security is just one factor. But I think there's that policy making level somebody to follow up that is lacking. Other innovative ways of employing more teachers is lacking. I will want to make sure that the quality of education is improved. The level of students that we send, or the number of students we send to university increases. This is one element. The second reason why I would want to go is for example, I'm an expert in I have quite good knowledge in security. Security is not a devolved function. I will want to make sure that I do more nationally in terms of giving my contributions, making legislation, making contributions at national level, to provide that ample avenues to help in security matters at national level in terms of policy making. That notwithstanding, we have had, community or clans in Mandera, various clans. It's important to note that on 15th of December, the clan that I come from, the Murule, set and they agreed that they're going to rotate positions based on to the different sub-clans. And it happened that the sub-clan I come from was given the position of member of parliament 2017 for Mandera East. And the clan unanimously endorsed, my sub-clan unanimously endorsed that I should be the person to be appointed for that position. So that is also part of the story.
Your people have fronted you, so to speak.
Yes.
But talking about the negotiated democracy, we've seen this in various clans in the northeastern part. Some have been met with a lot of resistance. For example, your colleague, and some have decided that they will stay put. How does this work? And for you, have you met any resistance from those who are in office?
Actually, before I go there, I'll talk about the Council of Elders. I say not only for Mandera, the issue of Council of Elders is an African, my honest view is an African way of leading communities. We have, not only in Mandera, we have Council of Elders in various communities. We have the Luo Council of Elders, we have the Kalenjin Council of Elders, we have very active during Chege in Meru, and it depends with, it's an African way of doing things. I think the main reason for forming those councils is not only on politics. They shape the direction of a particular community, and it's an African way. For me, I say it's a plus. It doesn't talk about politics only. It talks about communities interaction, different communities interaction, solving of problems. That is the main thing. So coming back to Mandera, it's not a new thing, only that they became more active in 2013, but they have been there since independence, and they have been leaders. They have been a group of selected elders formed by specific communities, and they have done quite well. They have done quite well. they have helped resolving, disputes between different clans, different sub-clans. The issue of now sharing resources, because leadership is part of also,
the resources.
It's a resource. And I think they have helped in terms of making sure that Clan A gets this, and Clan B gets this, and Clan C gets this. And initially, it used to be, it was not very active, because one sub-clan could have one position for about 20, 30 years. And that was, itself is an equity. So when you say you rotate positions between communities, I think it's a plus. It helps resolving disputes. It's a way of avoiding divisiveness within communities. It solves societal problems generally. So for me, I will say I support also other communities to form the same and to follow the same, not only on Mandera. Of course, there's resistance, because maybe changing the status quo is always a problem. And for me, I will say, despite the fact that there's opposition to it in northern Kenya, those opposition should also look at the positive side of it, positive side of the same. So I will say that it is a plus, and it is not only starting today, but it has been there quite a while.
Those opposing, like you said, so many of them, the few we've had decide that they will still go ahead and run for their positions, have said that these clans need to respect the will of the people, that the people still want me to lead them. So why should the clan decide that it's time for another clan or another individual to take it? Do you think they have real basis to these claims they're making?
Individually they may have their own basis, but literally I will say also, this thing, the leadership is given by God. However, it's shaped by a process. And for them, they could, they could respect the will of the elders, because the elders are formed by each of the sub-clans. Because if I come from sub-clan A, and my sub-clan has appointed an elder to be in the council, I vote to, the clan votes to follow, whatever outcome, the results made by those council of elders. And I think everybody is bound at some point to that, vote, that they should respect, that they should, follow, what the council of elders have said. But this is a democratic country, where everybody will say, of course, maybe I will have to follow my democratic space. It is, even 2013, this has been there. Quite a number of, the communities were shaped in a certain direction by this council of elders. But still, they were also on opposition at that time in each of these different sub-clans. Whether they won or not, then is subject to the reality now that's there in the ground.
But these clans are, this council of elders, it is described as a very powerful body. Just how powerful is it, and what does it mean for an individual when they decide to go against it?
I will not say that they are powerful. Of course, powerful, power is relative. Being powerful is relative. I would say, there's respect.
Or they have a lot of influence?
They have a lot of respect, a lot of influence, because if a clan is composed of 5 sub-clans, for example, I say, and before, it's a process. Appointing these guys to be the position where there is a process. The different sub-clans sit, and it takes a number of weeks or a number of months, for instance, to come up with this team. There's a process of swearing in. So it's a process the whole clan is bound to follow. So for one, they derive their power or influence from the people, because it's the people that have given them this, this level of influence. That's one. Secondly, people of northern Kenya are predominantly Muslims, and it is the faith, that teaches that each of these sub-communities should have a sort of leadership, a structure, and it's the faith that teaches that you follow those selected, by those communities.
Yeah.
You follow that. Anything that's not ungodly, you obey them, and it's one of the teachings, of Islam that happens. And I think they also derive their power from that direction. That direction. Yeah.
Have you always wanted to be a leader?
I've never thought of.
How did you stumble upon leadership? Did you stumble upon being a deputy governor? How was it for you?
Actually, I think I did say that. I think leadership is given by God. But however, I think from the beginning of my primary school, I think I started it from being a school prefect. And to high school, I've been I've been in one of the, at that time, professional schools, Wajir High School, where I ended up becoming one of the key prefects in school. And it continued that way, even during the police. I think, just to mention, when I went to Kosovo, it was interesting that I was heading a team of 20, police experts from different countries. And I think it is that God that has shaped, but I think I also worked hard to make sure that at least I make a difference in the lives of people.
What transpired? What brought you together with the current governor, Ali Roba? Because definitely, if you want to be a deputy governor, I believe you have to have a very good relationship with whoever is your governor.
It's very interesting. Incidentally, we were both prefects in Wajir High School.
Oh, that's from way back.
So we met in Wajir High School initially. And after high school, I think we met. When I left the police, I joined a humanitarian organization, and he was by profession a pilot. And after, I think, 16, 15 years, we met in N'Djamena, that's Chad, for the second time. And he flew me, I think, within Chad, because that's where I was working myself then. And when we met 2013, the issue of when initially I had an interest in becoming a member of parliament for Mandera East. And then the community set, and then the issue was there. And I met him, and I told him, my community seems to be, geared towards deputy governor. And at that time, his community also said, and he was selected, beforehand, and I knew he was to be the governor. And we met one day, and I discussed, what's your thinking about this deputy governor business? And he said, I think we'll be able to work together. If your community, says so, then because we are buddies from the beginning of high school. And that's how we met, and we joined hands. And, the communities came together. And I think that friendship is still there from high school until today.
How would you describe the team that you and Governor Ali Roba have made since 2013 after your election? What kind of relationship have you had?
We had at county level. I will talk about the county level, yes.
Yeah.
Of course, there are ups and downs in every new setup. But I would say the excellent team. They have done quite well. Of course, knowing Mandera, I'm sure the history of Mandera, literally all sectors were grounded, and they had working team, and the situation has turned around. For example, the Ministry of Health is a success story in one of the key areas that we have done an impact. Is the Ministry of Health. Water is another area. So I will describe the team as a hard-working team. I will wish to work with them maybe in the near future. And I will urge them to keep the same spirit. Of course, we are heading towards election 2017. And each of them may be influenced by the urge to run for various offices or join various camps. But I will say that this is a young government, only 4.5 years old. I'll encourage them that those professionals that we have employed in the various sectors to maintain that spirit, at least to make sure that they make a difference in the current positions in which they are in the respective ministries.
The clan called out to you and you took heed to the call, asked you to be a member of parliament. That's the seat you're going to run run for. Your colleague has stuck to his guns that he is going to defy them. Of course, there's been a lot of reactions from the region, some supporting, some not, in equal measure. Has this done anything to the relationship you've had with the governor?
Well, I think there's no, our relationship is still excellent, as far as I know, because we are together, we are buddies, and he sees me as a brother, and I see him as a brother too. I think it's important to point that we have been, my governor and I were one of the deputy governors and the governors that were working. The relationship has been excellent for the past 4 years. I don't think that whether that is a problem, because the clan has said this. We are still buddies, and as I venture into the new frontiers of becoming the member of parliament for Mandera East, God willing, inshallah, that he will also, because he has said it, also fight his counterpart in the same, different clan for the position of governor, and he has had a good relationship with everybody in Mandera. So if I may say, there's no problem, there's no harm. And we said and we agreed, and he said, you have now left me and you're going for member of parliament. Of course, with the endorsement of your clan. Yeah. I just hope that the relationship will continue as it was and work in our different capacities together. Yeah. Okay,
let's just briefly talk about some of the current affairs issues that are on boiling point in this country. The president yesterday signed the Election Laws Amendment Bill, now into law, and of course it has drawn a lot of reaction, still making conversation on the social media. We've had what the opposition has had to say about it. The government or the Jubilee side looks like it has bulldozed its way with these laws. What do you think about this?
For me, it's only that I never had time, but I wanted to attend even that Senate public view place. For me, I support it strongly, honestly. And why am I saying this? For example, the issue of the manual voter registration system. I will give you a very good example in Mandera. Of course, this thing works, technology works with it's an internet-based system. Right now, I go to Mandera, I cannot send any email with the slightest attachment. I can make a phone call, anytime, the network is nowhere. So we talk about making, 100% technology-based. I think it's unrealistic because Kenya is a third world country. We are not there yet. We are ambitiously saying that we will be there. But I think we need to look at our real circumstances, because what's available in Kisumu is not available in Mandera. Issue of infrastructure, issue of technology is not there everywhere. So for me, honestly, I say if this fails, of course, you must have plan B for everything in real life situation. Yeah. If you say you will only have A, then you are not realistic. For me, I will say that you must have plan B to do everything that you need to do. For example, if you go to, if you're in the front line for example, take an example of a fighting field or a battlefield. You're in the front line, and the enemy is just there. You don't have a plan B. What do you do? What do you do if you're overpowered? What do you do? You must have a plan B in everything that you do. And I think the issue of manual voter registration system is a good thing for everybody, even for those opposing. I think they're only looking at it from one side. They should look at it from the angle that, yes, the government is saying this, you're also saying that this should not happen. It can also affect you. Your opposition to it. You should also look at it, what are the benefits in it. Because if it fails, then it has failed for everybody.
So what are you saying? That some areas, if at all, hypothetically speaking, we decided to go all technology with the elections in August, some areas would be left out based on the infrastructure?
Absolutely. They will be left out because of this thing is based on internet, is based on technology. It will not work there. The issue of power is a problem in far-flanked counties. The county of Turkana, I'm sure, 100%. Part of South Rift, the whole of northeastern Kenya, parts of eastern. You know, power is a problem, and this thing is based on power. You know, solar is not there everywhere. It's not there everywhere. And the polling stations are in the remote parts of Kenya. And if you look at, you know, if you sample the polling stations, the ones that are in the far-flung areas of Kenya are more than the ones that are there in, you know, in an area that has that infrastructure. Even parts of central Kenya, the areas that do not have power. You know. So realistically speaking, I will say, first of all, let's improve our infrastructure. Let's get there. Let's get there.
Are we getting ahead of ourselves with this?
But I think I know I'm optimistic that we are getting there.
But what this debate has been on for so long, we had both sides have a group that will negotiate how the exit of the IEBC commissioners, among other things. So it has set the stage for our pre-elections, even as we prepare for the elections in August. How would you describe the country's pre-election mood currently?
I think the country was put into an election mood quite early. I would say
we have been in a pre-election mood for a very long time.
I think for a very long time, from 2014. Of course, I'm in Jubilee, and all the time I will be able to, you know, defend. I'll be talking from the point of that direction. I think it's the oppositions, you know, that has really put the country into an election mode for the past 2-3 years, and we only have 6 months. I mean, 7 months away, you know, to election. The level of preparedness, you know, could have been better than the way it is. My honest view, because there has been a lot of court issues going, you know, back and forth. For example, the issue last time I was reading the issue of, you know, the PVR machines tender taken to court by, you know, and that tender suspended by opposition because of ABCD. I think it's also delaying that process because 8th August is not far away, and if this, you know, pull and push is persists, then I will say the level of preparedness is below par. But if I think you know, everybody comes on board and tries to see to it that we minimize obstacles, we minimize, you know, bureaucracy, then the level of preparedness, I will say, could be improved.
Taking you back for a bit, there are some of the arguments that are being put forward by the opposition when we're still talking about these amendments and us reverting or resorting to going manual if technology fails, is that it brings room or it brings loopholes that will enable certain parties to be able to rig elections. Do you think these are valid concerns from the opposition?
For me, I will say it's not a valid reason, because even in technology, if you wanted to steal, you could continue stealing in technology. So I think you must have faith in yourself. If anything that you want to do, you know, you say you're going to be rigged, you're going to be done ABCD, then that is, you know, fear of the highest order. So if you think that, you know, anything that happens, you'll be disadvantaged, then that's having naive and narrow thinking. For me, that is not a reason. Elections have been there, even in other parts of the world.
Right.
They have been manual, all other parts of the world. So why the hula baloo about this one now, when you don't have the infrastructure, when you don't have the capacity as a country to, you know, to go that way?
I understand we don't have too much time. So as we wrap up, what next for Omar? What next for you in under a minute?
What next for me is to make sure that, inshallah, I do my best to secure the Member of Parliament for Mandera East, to work on the voter registration, which is starting in a week's time or less than a week's time. And at least do a lot of civic education, making sure that at least the people of Mandera are represented, you know, adequately at national level, inshallah, come 2017.
Well, we'll have that conversation after August. We are in 2017, by the way.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
You so much.
We are all still saying 2017.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in. Quite a story you have. We appreciate your presence here on KTN Morning Express. Omar Mohammed Maalim, who is setting his eyes and being the next member of parliament for Mandera East. He's currently the deputy governor of Mandera County, and we wish you all the best with that. At this point, we'll take a short commercial break. Coming back, we will be taking a look at some of the news headlines we have today, some of the stories we are following up on for you. And on your money, we'll be talking to young people. What are you going to do to save this year? What are some of the tactics you can employ? Duncan Mishemi, financial expert, will be joining me in studio for a bit. Don't go too far. This is KTN Morning Express.